This PowerPoint will introduce you to the content of an Assignments 4, Unit 9. This unit actually covers two topics: the history of Western Europe in Byzantium from 1000 to 1500 CE, and the history of Central Asia during roughly the same time. These topics are covered in chapters 11 and 12 of our book. Please remember to check your calendar and the activities under Unit 9 content to see what your instructor has assigned and when those assignments are due. Those may include a quiz, discussion, and essay. Let us look at the ways in which you can do your best on each of them. Chapter 11 covers the history of Central Asia. Unlike other regions of the world, Central Asia lacks distinctive features that define its boundaries. The map will give you a good idea as to where this is located. As you can see, Central Asia includes a vast swath of land that stretches from the Caspian Sea through Mongolia. This is the Great Eurasian Steppe, where pastoral nomadism flourished. To the south of this steppe lies an area known as Transoxiana. Transoxiana is located to the east of the Amu Darya River and is a place where trade settlements formed and agriculture developed along major river watersheds. Three forces combined to shape the course of history in Central Asia. First, beginning from the 2nd century BCE, waves of Turkic migration entered the region. Turkic tribes occupied the Great Steppe, Turkifying it and giving it a nomadic character. Turkic tribes also occupied Transoxiana, interacting with Persian cultures. Secondly, from the 8th century, Islam entered Central Asia, spreading through the region and reshaping its religious character. Lastly, in the 1200s, beginning with Genghis Khan, the Mongols engaged in a military conquest and empire building that deeply impacted the history of Central Asia. This chapter covers these three major developments in the history of the region. Chapter 11 covers the history of Western Europe and Byzantium from 1000 to 1500 CE. Thus, it continues with the story of the early Middle Ages, covered in Chapter 7. In this chapter, you will learn about the later history of the Middle Ages in Western Europe and the Byzantine Empire. Major themes include emergence of the feudal in the 10th and 11th centuries, the growth of towns, trade, and agriculture, the expansion of Christendom, but also the split between the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church, the Crusades, the further development of kingdoms in Europe, and gradual decline of the Byzantine Empire, and, lastly, daily life during the later Middle Ages and the Renaissance. It is a complex but fascinating history, and I hope you will spend some time with it, especially because this history is so formative to the history of early modern Europe, with consequences up to the present. First, to begin with the quiz, perhaps the most important thing to remember is that this is a quiz on the textbook reading. The questions are not trying to trick you, but are testing whether you read the chapter for this unit, chapters 11 and 12, carefully. I would strongly recommend reading the entire chapter first and then having the reading in front of you when you attempt the quiz so you can double check your answers. Also, pay close attention to the key terms and questions to guide your reading located at the beginning of the chapter. For the discussion, if assigned by your instructor, we look at Mongol culture. Through roughly 70 years of military campaigning, the Mongols established the largest contiguous land empire in world history. Because of the speed and ruthlessness in which they did so, the Mongols have been portrayed as barbaric in Persian, Chinese, and Russian accounts. Yet, the Mongols were certainly not the first or the last to brutally conquer others in the quest for empire. This raises the question as to whether, in other facets of their lives, the Mongols are as barbaric as these sources show them to be. Outsider accounts of the Mongols are available that offer insight into their culture and way of life. For example, one of the earliest and most useful accounts was written by William of Rubric, a Catholic missionary who traveled through Mongol territory from 1253 to 1255 CE. For this discussion, review a short article about Mongol methods of warfare called Escaping the Mongols. Then read sections of William of Rubik's account that pertain to Mongol culture or that are interesting to you. For more background on the Mongols, see The Mongols in World History under Supplemental Learning Materials. Please post your own response, 2 to 3 paragraphs, and respond to at least 2 posts from your classmates. For this essay, if assigned by your instructor, we look at the Crusades from the perspective of the Byzantine Empire. Please explain why and how the Byzantine Empire is linked to the history of the Crusades and the impact of the Crusades on this empire. Resources will be critical for writing this, and it is best only to use them. Avoid websites with quick and easy answers that don't require any thinking. First, and most importantly, the essay can be constructed using our book, Chapter 12, Western Europe in Byzantium, 1000 to 1500, pages 428 to 460. Second, look over the documents you have been provided concerning the sack of Constantinople, the capital of Byzantium, during the Fourth Crusade and incorporate them into your essay. Lastly, view the documentary, Byzantium, Tale of Three Cities, Constantinople. Lastly, be sure to see the writing guidelines provided for you in the Unit 9 assignment instructions. You can also submit the paper at that webpage. This essay should be roughly 800 words.